from Grimsby, both the Kinsmen and the Canucks, West Lincoln kin, the Dunsville kin, Cayuga kin, and the Fonthill kin. Thank you very much for coming and help us to honor Dave and to present this wonderful work of art for wonderful people. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. And just as an aside, Brian is my oldest son, and I'm proud of him. And now I'm going to call on Jeff Burns. Oh, sorry. Oh, you don't want to speak again, or you want to speak later? Okay.
Dennis is last. Okay, you go first. No, you go first. I know that's what's happening.
Mark.
Okay, I'm going to call on Jeff Burns because he's next on my list. Jeff is the president of the Legion.
The lady on the pink dress is Dennis's wife. No, was.
As usual, any military function, there's mass confusion, so, as we all know. On behalf of Branch 350, thank you all for coming. To Dave, what can I say, man? Thank you. I don't know what else to say. The politicians, of course, took center stage. They said it all. But all in all, it's something that touches the heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. And now I'm going to call on the representative of the local regiments, the Lincoln and Welland, Phillip Dyson.
Hi, my name is Captain Phil Dyson of the Lincoln and Welland Regiment. I served with Warrant Officer Dennis Brown, who's here in the Portraits of Honor. I worked with Dennis 15 years part-time.
Wow.
It's amazing how well you get to know somebody just working with them part-time. I've got a little synopsis of Dennis's career with us. So, Dennis Brown joined the Lincoln and Welland Regiment on October 31st, 1988. To say his career with the Canadian Forces was the only facet of Dennis's life would be an injustice. He was a husband, a father, an uncle, a son, a brother, a cousin, a friend, a neighbor, a peer, and a colleague. To us, the serving members of the Lincoln and Welland Regiment, he was also a very passionate soldier, a dedicated manager, an inspiring leader, a beer-drinking buddy.
We all like that.
Yeah.
No stories.
No.
He was one hell of a motivator and a member of the regimental ball hockey team who occasionally could be seen sporting a black eye as a result of his scrappy playing style. But Dennis was much, much more. To those of us that served with him in the regiment, he was Warrant Officer Brown, who could easily transition into the role of platoon second in command, company quartermaster, or company sergeant major. In other words, it was apparent to everyone who knew him that Dennis Brown was a somebody. His determination to excel during his initial regimental training caught the eye of his superiors, who recommended him for leadership training. Dennis backed up this determination and did not disappoint those who placed their faith in his abilities. And yet, he was only 18 years old. He completed this very difficult leadership training well above the standards expected amongst such raw, new soldiers. Afghanistan isn't the only place where Warrant Officer Brown was. In 1992, he volunteered and deployed overseas with then Corporal Stephen Ward to Cambodia. He was a member of the contingent tasked to assist the United Nations Transitional Authority mission. His selfless reputation and participation continued to increase upon his return to the regiment. He could be counted on to attend all training exercises and was always available to participate in regimental social functions where he could be seen dancing on a speaker during a Christmas party. If Warrant Officer Brown was not in attendance for some reason, everyone would be asking themselves where he was, but the answer would be he'd be working or he was with the kids. As an officer within the regiment, on a personal note, I always wanted Dennis to be a member of my platoon or company. I could count on him to be the oil that greased the wheels. He would ensure that whatever plan I devised not only worked, but that it would achieve the highest standard, and he could do it all with a great sense of humor. It's true that I did not always agree with his methods, and we would sometimes argue, but I knew that he always held the best interests of the soldiers under his command at the forefront of his actions. It is plainly evident that Dennis was capable of making a difference. He accomplished this as a leader within the regiment by inspiring others to achieve their personal best. This is the job of a warrant officer and sergeant within the Canadian Forces, and Warrant Officer Brown knew his craft very, very well. The excellence by which this was achieved is apparent by the number of followers he had, and from those that continually sought his advice, and from those of us that are here today. This was one of Dennis's outstanding personal attributes. Soldiers within our regiment and soldiers elsewhere looked up to him and he never backed away from his obligations that he was entrusted with. This is the example he set. He never turned a soldier away without ensuring that they understood what was expected of them. To continue, Warrant Officer Brown wanted to make a difference. To this end, he sought to serve in Afghanistan. Those of us who knew him knew that he was going to do his best to accomplish this. Although he initially met some resistance while attempting to achieve his goal, his persistence paid off. Upon being granted leave by the Niagara Regional Police Service, he was available to complete his workup training and departed for Afghanistan. An unfortunate ending to his participation in the Afghan mission is a tragedy for all of us who knew Dennis. Not only did the Lincoln and Welland Regiment lose an exemplary warrant officer and role model, he was also one of the brightest and most passionate individuals that one could ever know. However, many of those closest to Dennis lost so much more. It is a credit to Dennis that he was aware, as are others that serve with the regiment and the Canadian Forces, of the high cost often incurred by such individuals who strive to accomplish something bigger than themselves. This very special occasion on which we are present, Portraits of Honor, created by artist David, is not only a tribute to Dennis, but also pays tribute to all members of the Canadian Forces who have lost their lives in Afghanistan. Last page. The Lincoln and Welland Regiment, the regimental family, and I, which are all present here today, and I would like to personally thank the organizers, King Canada and Legion affiliates, and Cheryl Houston and Dave for this opportunity. As a result of your skills, your sacrifices, we, the serving members of the regiment, are once again able to see the lifelike image of our Warrant Officer Dennis Brown. Proudly wearing the Lincoln Welland Cap Badge, a symbol which we all strived, sweated, and bled to wear. It is definitely an honor to be here today. We will remember Warrant Officer Dennis Brown, not only on this occasion, this opportunity, but we will continue to remember him on every Remembrance Day and Decoration Day. We will also remember and will continue to pay tribute to all of our serving Canadian Force members here on this wall who have given their lives in defense of our freedoms and way of life. Lest we forget.